My name is Wilfred Emmanuel-Jones, and I've been asked, can I describe my treatment journey with GvHD? In order to describe my treatment journey, I need to really go back to the beginning. And the beginning was that I had a condition called myelofibrosis, which I had for a number of years that I was able to live with. But unfortunately, it mutated to acute myeloid leukemia. And for those of you who are listening, you will know, what a shock it is to have such a diagnosis, and that the only cure available was to have a stem cell transplant. And in my case, even though I'm from a very, very large family, I've got 8 brothers and sisters, they couldn't find a match. And they went and did the search on the big web, and again, they still couldn't find a match. So the only thing that was then left available to me was something called a haplo transplant, which is like, it's not a whole match, but it's like a half match. But it was better that than the alternative. So I had my haplo transplant, and thank God it was very successful. One of the consequences of having that type of transplant is graft versus host disease. And now, as far as my consultant was concerned, having graft versus host disease was good. It was an indication that actually the transplant was working because I think, and I don't necessarily know all the medical terms, but it's about the old system fighting the new system, and then graft versus host disease is the consequence. And then if you look at my face at the moment, and take my glasses off so you could see me, you could see that I've got vertigo here, all of my head, you see there, all of that is vertigo. And then if I don't know if you could see that, but on my nails, also quite brittle. All of this is a consequence of the graft versus host disease. And inside my lungs as well, I have issues with my lungs. I have very, very dry eyes, and also very, very sort of dry mouth. And that is the consequence of having this haplo transplant. But for me, um, it's a blessing in a way, because every time I look in the mirror, I know that I'm alive because of good science. And there's a lot of challenges that come with that. And in order to help me with the symptoms of graft versus host disease, I can't even remember the right name of it, but I had some treatment at Guy's Hospital where I had to go every week to have something done to my blood, and the name will come to me as I'm speaking, which will then help the symptoms. Because actually, in the early days of graft versus host disease, it was pretty traumatic, and they tried to control it with drugs. Um, and it worked to some degree, but the consequences of using the drugs is that it's compromised the immune system, and so therefore they were trying to find some other treatment that was then not going to be reliant on drugs, and therefore compromise the immune system. Now, it has been it's coming up to about 12 years now since I had my stem cell transplant. And I must say that it has improved, because if I showed you a picture of what I looked like, 12 years ago, I looked like a totally different person. My skin was very, very dark, and the vertigo was a lot more pronounced. And that the symptoms that I still have with graft versus disease were far more profound then than they are now. So the good news is that it does get better. I think the thing is that it takes patience and it takes time, but it does get better. And that's all I could say about actually graft versus host disease.